Gun ownership is one of many things that come with living in America. For us Alabamians, the state has been a permitless carry state since 2023, meaning you don't need a license to openly carry a firearm. But when someone straps on a gun and heads out the door, does that mean they can carry any gun they want? We verify. Alabama's permitless carry law changed the way many people carry firearms across the state. Since 2023, people who can legally possess a firearm no longer need a permit to carry. But that change has also led to questions about what is actually allowed. So, is it legal to open carry any gun in Alabama? Let's verify. Our sources are the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, the Alabama Code, and the Alabama State Constitution. Here's what we found. Alabama's Constitution guarantees every citizen a fundamental right to bear arms. Under Alabama law, any person who is at least 19 years old and legally allowed to possess a firearm can openly carry a handgun, rifle, or shotgun without a permit. So generally, yes, the type of gun isn't what Alabama law restricts, but that doesn't mean there are no limits. The restrictions come down to two things: who can carry and where. People convicted of felonies, people under certain domestic violence protective orders, and those with specific mental health adjudications are still banned from carrying a firearm, open or concealed permit or no permit. But location matters just as much as who's carrying. Even with Alabama's permitless carry law, places like schools, courthouses, and certain government buildings all remain off limits, and the law goes even further for private property. Under Alabama Code Section 13A 1152, someone without a concealed carry permit actually needs the property owner's consent to carry a gun on their property. If a property owner or someone authorized to act for them asks a person carrying a firearm to leave, that person has to go. And a property owner doesn't always need a sign posted to enforce that rule. Verbal notice can be enough. If that person refuses to leave, they can be faced with a criminal trespass charge. So we can verify that yes, it's generally legal to open carry any gun in Alabama, but the person carrying it and where still matters. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. Mosquitoes can turn a nice summer day into a scratch fest. If you feel like they always find you first at a cookout, you've probably heard the theory that it comes down to your blood type. So is that actually true, or is something else making you a mosquito magnet? We verify. Summer in the Tennessee Valley means fun in the sun, more time outdoors, and that one friend who swears mosquitoes only bite them. The common explanation you've probably heard is blood type. So, do mosquitoes really prefer certain blood types over others? Let's verify. Our sources are peer-reviewed studies published in the Journal of Medical Entomology and the American Journal of Entomology and the National Library of Medicine. Here's what we found. A study in the Journal of Medical Entomology tested the Asian tiger mosquito and found it landed on people with type O blood more often than people with type AB, A, and B. A separate study in the American Journal of Entomology tested the yellow fever mosquito and found that when offered all four blood types at once, it also preferred type O. So, is type O every mosquito's top choice? Not exactly. In 2014, experts published a study that tested the Asian malaria mosquito and actually found the opposite. In that research, the mosquitoes showed a strong preference for type AB blood more than type A, type B, and type O. So the research on blood type is mixed. But scientists do agree on one thing: your blood type only plays a minor role in whether you get bit. Other factors matter a lot more. The air you breathe out plays a big factor. Mosquitoes track the carbon dioxide you exhale from up to 50 meters away. That means anyone who naturally breathes out more of it becomes an easier target. Pregnant women are at a larger risk. Research shows pregnant women exhale about 21% more carbon dioxide than women who aren't pregnant. One study even found pregnant women attracted roughly twice as many mosquitoes as non-pregnant women in the same setting. Body heat puts you at risk too. Female mosquitoes use heat to zero in on a target once they are close by. That's why hot days can make you more of a target, and why exercise does too. So we can verify, yes, research shows that mosquitoes do prefer particular blood types, but that preference isn't the same across all species. Some lean toward type O, while others favor the remaining types. Backyards are getting busy, stores are selling out, and everyone gets ready to light up the sky, but it's not always clear where you can actually do it. So, Where are fireworks legal in Madison County? Let's verify. Our sources are the Alabama Fireworks Act and the city ordinances from Huntsville, Madison, and Owens Cross Roads. Here's what we found. If you live in unincorporated Madison County, consumer fireworks are generally legal under Alabama law. However, the county does set certain days and times where fireworks-related noise is allowed. The ordinance states that fireworks may be used without noise restrictions between 10 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, Memorial Day weekend, July 3rd and 4th, and Labor Day. But state law does place some restrictions on where they can be used. You cannot shoot fireworks within 600 feet of a church, school, hospital, or an enclosed building where people are gathered. You also can't use them within 200 feet of a location where fireworks are sold or stored. However, the rules are a lot stricter once you enter some city limits. In Huntsville, the city's ordinance only allows non-explosive and non-aerial sparkling devices. That means items like sparklers, ground fountains, ground spinners, and similar novelties are allowed, but fireworks that explode or shoot into the air, including bottle rockets, Roman candles, firecrackers, and mortars, are strictly prohibited. And in the city of Madison, the rules follow a similar path. Explosive and aerial fireworks remain illegal without a permit, but novelties and sparkling devices are allowed year-round within city limits. But unlike Huntsville or Madison, the city of Owens Cross Roads does allow people to shoot fireworks within the city limits, but only during specific holiday windows. They're allowed starting a week before and ending a week after Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, and New Year's, but users must be at least 16 years old, and you can't set them off inside a vehicle or throw them from one. The city also sets a nightly curfew. Fireworks must stop by 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and by midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. So if you plan to light up the sky this weekend, make sure to stay safe and follow your local rules. Data center drama is all the buzz here in the Tennessee Valley. Just hours ago, residents in Fort Payne pushed for stricter zoning rules on these type of facilities. And over in Morgan County, residents spoke out against a proposed Bitcoin mine planned near their homes just this morning. But in these debates, a lot of people are blurring the line between the two. Although they look the same, experts say a Bitcoin mine actually isn't considered a data center. So what's the difference between the two? Let's verify. As more large tech facilities pop up across the Tennessee Valley, the terms data center and Bitcoin mine are often used interchangeably, and at first glance, it's easy to see why. They often look the same from the outside: big buildings, constant humming, and massive energy use. But experts say what's happening inside these facilities couldn't be more different. So, what's the difference between a Bitcoin mine and a data center? We verify. Our source is scienceforgeorgia.org. Here's what we found. Data centers are in charge of running the digital services people use every day. Companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google use data centers to store information, run websites, and support streaming services. Companies also use these facilities to power artificial intelligence. A Bitcoin mine, on the other hand, is built for one main purpose: earning cryptocurrency. But to understand the difference between the two, you have to first understand what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is a digital currency that isn't controlled by any bank or government. People buy Bitcoin mostly because they see it as an investment, hoping its value will go up over time, kind of like digital gold. But there's a key difference in how Bitcoin moves versus regular money. When you use a bank to spend money, the bank checks everything for you. It makes sure you have enough money, approves the purchase, and keeps track of it. But with Bitcoin, there is no bank. So when someone sends Bitcoin, there has to be a way to confirm that the transaction is real and not fake. And that's where Bitcoin mines come into play. These mines use computers to check and confirm those transactions, but instead of just one company doing it, thousands of computers around the world are competing against each other to do it first, because the first one to do it gets rewarded in Bitcoin. But that competition comes at a cost to the surrounding community. Experts say Bitcoin mines have significantly higher electricity demand than a traditional data center. They also generate extreme heat and require industrial fans to run nonstop, making them far louder than a typical tech facility. So while they may look similar from the outside, there's a big difference between data centers and Bitcoin mines. Temperatures in the Tennessee Valley are soaring well into the 90s, and it only takes minutes for a parked car to turn into an oven. So when someone sees a child or a pet trapped inside, the instinct is to act fast and break the glass. But does Alabama law actually protect you if you do that? We verify. A hot car can turn deadly in minutes. Experts say even on a pleasant day in the 70s, a car can heat up to more than 110 degrees in under an hour. So, if you see a child or pet trapped inside, your first instinct may be to break the window and get them out. But before you do, what does the law say? Can you legally break into a hot car to rescue a child or pet? Let's verify. Our sources are the Code of Alabama and Humane World for Animals. Here's what we found. According to state law passed in 2017, a person who breaks into a vehicle to rescue a child or an otherwise incapacitated person is protected from civil lawsuits, but only if they meet a few specific requirements. First, they have to reasonably believe the person is in imminent danger. The vehicle has to be locked, and there can't be another safe way to get the person out. They have to notify law enforcement or contact 911 either before or immediately after the rescue. They can only use reasonable force to get the person out, and they have to stay with that person and remain near the vehicle until help arrives. But here's where it gets complicated. That law does not mention pets. When researching, we found that Alabama is among the states that don't have a law specifically protecting someone who breaks a window to save a dog or cat. Lawmakers have actually tried multiple times to pass a Good Samaritan bill that would cover animals, but none of those bills made it into law. That means right now, if you break a car window to save a pet in Alabama, you will be responsible for that damage. So, what should you do instead if you see a pet in distress? According to the Humane World for Animals, you should write down the car's make, model, and license plate. If you're near a business, ask them to page the owner over the intercom, and if you can't find the owner, call the non-emergency police line or animal control and wait nearby until they arrive. So we can verify in Alabama you are protected if you break into a hot car to rescue a child, but that same protection does not exist for pets. Summer's here, and with temperatures climbing well into the 90s, staying cool is more important than ever. You've probably heard people say you should avoid wearing black or other dark colors in the summertime because they can make you more likely to suffer a heat-related illness. But is that actually true, or is it just another summer myth? We verify. North Alabama weather is known for being all over the place, but if you've been outside recently, you know each day has at least one thing in common: heat. On these hot days, most of us are looking for any way to stay cool, even down to the color of our clothes. But are you more prone to heat-related illnesses when wearing darker colors? We verified. Our sources are the CDC and the National Institutes of Health. Here's what we found. Experts say that dark colors do absorb more solar radiation than light colors, which means the fabric itself can get hotter when you're in direct sunlight. That added heat can contribute to heat stress, which ultimately can increase the risk for heat-related illnesses. The CDC says those illnesses can range from heat cramps and heat exhaustion to heat stroke, which is a life-threatening emergency. Warning signs of heat exhaustion include heavy sweating, cool and clammy skin, nausea, weakness, and dizziness. If someone's body temperature reaches 103 degrees or higher, or they become confused, pass out, or stop sweating, that could be heat stroke, and you should call 911 right away. But here's the important part. Clothing color is just one factor, and not the most significant one. According to the CDC, the body's primary defense against heat is sweating. As sweat evaporates, it cools your skin, and when the process is disrupted by either high humidity, tight clothing, or dehydration, your risk for heat-related illnesses rises fast. They also say the groups most at risk include the elderly, young children, and people with heart or kidney conditions, as well as those taking certain medications like diuretics or antihistamines. But anyone who's out in direct sunlight for a long period of time is at risk. So, what should you wear to stay cool this summer? Experts recommend lightweight, loose-fitting, and breathable clothing to help your body cool itself more effectively. So we can verify that yes, you are more prone to heat-related illnesses wearing dark colors, but your clothing's fit, fabric, and your hydration level matter just as much, if not more. And if you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692.